Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It was before all the hype, you know, it was the first to kind of the popcorn blockbusters. You had that, and then you had Spielberg's films. So you had like Jaws and that. But before then, it was still the 70s, you know.
It's a piece of equipment. But to the average person, if you show them that helmet, if they say anything, they'll say it's Boba Fett. So we immediately started to draw visual, differences between the two characters. Our character is much more bulked up than Boba ever was.
Fantasy, science fiction, it reflects the world we actually live in its inclusiveness and diversity and conflict and themes of good against evil and so it's fascinating to experience that as a child, to have your imagination so enriched by these stories, and then now as an adult to look back and rekindle my relationship to Star Wars, and in particular those Star Wars movies and the tone of this series, which I find is a little bit more Empire Strikes Back and a bit grittier and edgier Star Wars. That I realize, wow, these in terms of war and family and personal conflict and personal journey and personal relationships, it reflects so much what our actual reality as human beings on this planet is.
The show, to me, in the most basic storyline, is about a man who's been following a way of life and has that way of life sort of upended by the introduction of the baby, and it sort of changes his life, and I think he's reevaluating his priorities and what means something to him in his life in the world. So I think it's really sort of about a man discovering something about himself that he had never known until he met the child.
As I became a bit more of a student of filmmaking, I really began to appreciate the brilliance of Star Wars and what Lucas had created. And then I, of course, started to read more and the hero's journey and all those kinds of, books, and began to really appreciate Joe Campbell and what he was saying and understand a lot more. Then, for me, it became, wow, it was beyond being groundbreaking, Star Wars was. It was, in its own way, again, like a crack into some sort of other universe that I hadn't been exposed to.
Something which has a perennial stability, probably since Paleolithic times, people sitting around a campfire and telling stories. So this is really good in storytelling, and it has a lot of openings for complete fantasy. And I found the dialogues and the constellations of figures in the film quite interesting. And I had the feeling, yes, that's something I should do. And of course, the real Star Wars fans, they come anyway, but you don't take anything for granted. You better give everything that's in you. You give your best. Because there's more than the fans. I mean, the fans see everything anyway, but you have to find new audiences in different countries where Star Wars hasn't been that much present. And you have to expand the mythology.